everybody, I'm Tom Vassell, and welcome to Week in Review. Now, this is kind of a different week in review. Normally, we talk about reviews we did the last week, but this is actually 2 weeks ago that we did these different reviews and videos. But we're just telling you about them, giving short summaries of each of them, and then if you want to see the whole video, you just click the link in the description. Here we go.
Hey everybody, I'm Z Garcia. Here's what I did last week. So I put out my top 5 button-shy games from that publisher. Make sure you check that out. And then I reviewed, as part of the reviews anyway, for The Number, which I gave a 4 out of 10 to. I thought it was very, very plain. It is uninspiring. It is neither a fun strategic game, nor a party game, nor a particularly robust guessing game. I just found it to be not fun to play. So that's my review for The Number. The Number is 4. I reviewed Dead by Daylight, which I gave a 5 out of 10 to. It's a little bit better than that. It is unfortunately kind of a mess when it comes to graphic design. It is a big box game that feels like a very small game in many ways, that has some great components and some terrible graphic design choices. It is a game that does not scale well. You really want to play with a full complement. So everybody has just one character they're running. Running multiple characters is a mistake in that game and strips away some of the fun of being hunted by a killer and makes it just, I need to play a card and move and look at mechanisms and try to manipulate mechanisms. So it loses a little bit of what I'm hoping I can get from the game, which again, if I do it 5 players, then yeah, you can salvage some of that emotion, some of that fun. I reviewed Star Wars Rivals, which I gave a 7 out of 10 to. This is a really interesting little collectible game. Very simple, in which you are putting together your side of the battle here with 3 characters, 12 cards or 9 cards, very few cards, and then playing, moving around. It's very, very light. Certainly could be played by kids, but I had a good time with it too. I'm not a big fan of the collectability, and I think some of the choices they made when it came to that were predatory a little bit, but I enjoyed the game, and I think it is one that I could see myself having, enjoying, maybe even purchasing a little bit of it. I reviewed Cosmoctopus, which I gave a 7.5 out of 10 to. This is a fun game. This one you are going to be managing a hand of cards, trying to collect resources, spend those resources for the correct cards, racing up to be the first one to get 8 tentacles, and I really like that. I like a game in which there is a clear stopping point and then no scoring at all. A race game, quote-unquote, race game. And this one is like that, and I enjoy that feeling. It has a little bit of splendor in it with you building up discounts and then being able to do things cheaply on the back end, but you invest too much time in that, and someone's going to outpace you. I like that balance. It's a tongue-in-cheek theme as well, and I enjoy that it doesn't take itself too seriously. The whole thing is pretty fun, engaging, lovely-looking game. And then lastly, I reviewed Ancient Knowledge, which I gave an 8.5 out of 10 to. This one is a fantastic card-driven game, combo-licious. Lots of cards. They're all different. They all do interesting things, and how they come together is where the game is at. You are trying to put monuments and places into play, and then they become old and decay and fall off the edge, and you need to manage when that happens, how you let that happen, what abilities do you have access to. The whole thing, every one part of it is very simple, and it all comes together in a delicious combination of things to try to make happen. I really, really like this one. Lovely, great production, and just a thinky, fun game driven by cards. So there you go. That's it for me. I'll see you on the next one.
Hi, I'm Wendy Yee, and this week I reviewed Peanut Butter Belly Time. I gave it a 7.5. I was really happily surprised with how a peanut butter company actually made a decent game, so that's pretty cool. It's Sushi Go-esque in the sense that you're drafting cards and you're laying them in front of you for points and stuff, and you're trying to make connections and interesting things. So I think there's some cool decisions, there's some fun things that make it a little bit unique, and I think overall it's a quick, good family game. So there you go. Keep watching along. We've got the top 100s going on. I think this is the second to last week before we have our final ones, and then the Summer Spectacular with all the final top 10s. So check those out, and yeah, let's see who's next.
Okay, so I only reviewed one game this week, and that was Dead by Daylight. It is a board game based on a video game, and I enjoyed the game. It had some production issues that kept it down for me, but overall, it is a fun game with a couple of issues you have to get over production-wise. But I gave it a 7. All right, and that's all I reviewed this week. Got plane. Can you tell I'm completely running out of stuff to do? See, everybody else is in here like 7 or 8 minutes just reviewing their stuff. I have one thing to review, so I'm just gonna play at the plane. Check it out. I've always wanted to do this. I'm gonna stick my tongue in a fan. Just ready?
Hey everybody, Roy Candy with my week in review. I took a look at one game, and that is Numbers. This was a game of just trying to have the lowest number out of everybody or have numbers that didn't cross over with other people. And you would think that it would be like an interesting deduction-y style game, like trying to figure out what's going on. And there's a teeny bit of that, but overall it came out pretty boring and pretty unexciting just in general. So I gave it a 3. Not very fun for me. Across the board, we were pretty low on it. So you can check out that review if you want to stay away from that game a little bit. But also, we're doing our top 100. So lots of exciting games we're talking about there. We're also going to be doing our top 100 during the Dice Tower East week as well. Make sure to check out all of our top 100s that have come out from the past 2 weeks. Those have been a blast to do. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing week. Let's keep on going.
Hey everyone, Chris here. I was in a few different reviews this week, starting with The Number. This is a game that dares to ask you, what is the number? The answer is 4. It's not that I hate this game, it's that there's so little to it. It's all right. It's clever in its own right. I don't want to play it, and I couldn't imagine buying it. So 4 from me for The Number. Next up, Cosmoctopus is 6.5. I wish I enjoyed this one a little bit more than I did. I think it's clever. I think it's good. The uneven tempo of the game is what kind of holds it back for me. It is fun. I wish that it was a little bit smoother. Star Wars Rivals, a 7.5 for me. This is a small game. Marvel Snap-like. I'm sure the others are going to say the same thing because that's kind of what it feels inspired by, but it's a good little, my first head-to-head confrontation-y type game. I can play this with my daughter. It's very fun. It honestly would have a higher rating if not for the odd and bad collectible format that it's in. Blatantly buy our playsets and toys kind of a format. So 7.5. Next up, Ancient Knowledge. I gave a 9. This is a fantastic card combo-y type of a game. Things will age out and you are in building up that engine and it's so satisfying, but things will fall off. But even when they fall off of your timeline, it's still satisfying because they have another purpose. This is what I love in card games like this. So a 9 from me. Also check out Tom, Wendy, and I did a look at the Spiel des Jahres and Kenner Spiel des Jahres nominees. So go check that out. And that has been my week.
All right, this week I took a look at 2 different games. I took a look at Dead by Daylight, which I came in at a 7 on. My rating on this game could have been anywhere from probably like a 5 or a 6 all the way up to like an 8 or a 9. I really enjoy the theme in this. I think it causes some great cooperation and theme and role playing and just some of these epic moments that you want out of a really dark, gruesome kind of IP based on a video game. It really feels like that. But man, the graphic design choices in this are just frustrating. I also only think it's a 5-player game. It doesn't scale well to any of the other variations in there. So for me, I came in at a 7 where I'd recommend this, but all my recommendations is going to come with quite a few caveats because I think that the game has some pretty big flaws, mostly in the graphic design. I also took a look at Ancient Knowledge. I came in at a 7.5 on this one. Ancient Knowledge, I really enjoyed the mechanisms of this game. I liked the flow. I love that the cards, how they age out, and you really have to, as you're building your tableau, think not about just what you want to play, but when you want it to go off. I really like the mitigation that you have. So you can play a card here because it plays out on level 3, but you can pay to advance or to decline it faster, different things like that. So there's a lot of things to balance in this, and I like the flow of the game. But ultimately, I think at a higher player count, it is going to slog quite a bit. And at a lower player count, there's just not enough card refreshment in your available options. So I have a hard time nailing down a perfect player count, but as far as the actual gameplay of this, oh, it's so smooth and it's very satisfying. So Ancient Knowledge, 7.5. That's going to be it for me this week. Let's keep going.
And finally, me. So I reviewed Ancient Knowledge from Yellow, which was a fantastic engine building. I have a few problems with it. I would have taken out the Take That cards in it, but they're not that big of a deal. But I still really like this engine building game. Peanut Butter Belly Time. This is a nice filler about making peanut butter jars and filling them with delicious things. A silly theme. I thought it would be a silly game, but it's actually a very nice, simple drafting game. I give this one a 7 out of 10. Star Wars Rivals. This is a little, very decent game from Funkoverse where you have these different characters and they go after each other. You have 3 characters against 3 characters. I like it. I would normally give it a 7, but I gave it a 6 rating because, honestly, the packaging system with the random characters, in this one I find that to be too much. I didn't enjoy that system at all. I did a board game roundup this week of a lot of different games, various reviews. I took a look at The Number. The Number I gave a 5 to. It's an interesting exercise. I just don't find it to be a very fun game. It's very meta, but not meta, and it doesn't feel like there's any, it just feels like a cool pencil paper thing, but that would be the highest extent of it. And then Cosmoctopus, I really like this one, a 7.5, a nice engine building game with an octopus moving around, plays best at 2 and 3. So those are the reviews we did. We also did a party game. We have some playthroughs of Metal Gear, the new game from Simon that went up over the week, and lots of other all our normal stuff. And this past week, we were at Dice Tower East, so there wasn't as many videos going up then, just the top 100 stuff. So we are back now. You'll see stuff start going up over the next couple days. So until then, you've been watching Week in Review here on the Dice Tower.